Hey, Raf here. I am here to talk about this no drill curtain rod divider system. I was sent this by a brand to put this together, and here is my review of this system. First of all, as you can see, it goes from floor to ceiling, and this is used off of tension at the very top section, which is really nice because you don't have to do any drilling, and I really like that. So let's say you get it set up and it's not exactly where you want it to be. You have the flexibility and versatility to move it, and I think that is such a great feature. But hey, stick around and let's go through the unboxing and assembly and also some tips along the way. All right, before we get into the unboxing, as you can see, you have two vertical poles here that go from floor to ceiling. There's a bottom plate and a top plate, and then you have your horizontal bar. So quick tip on this, I have 9-foot ceilings. I went with an 84-inch curtain, but I really want there to be less space at the top. So if you have a 9-foot ceiling, I would recommend going with a 96-inch curtain. Also, I wanted mine to come over here towards the countertop a little bit more, which this system will extend further out. There is another section up here that can go to the left. So I need to get wider curtains, but overall, I really like this system. It was easy to assemble. I think it's great for dividing up a room. I love that there's no drilling involved, so if you need to move it, you can. I've already readjusted this once, and I love that flexibility and versatility of this system. So if you're wanting something to divide up a room, I highly recommend this system. I think it's really great. Again, the versatility of being able to move it is really nice. You can also put this in front of a window if you want to put curtains up in front of a window without having to drill a rod above the window and doing all that. You can keep your wall nice and pristine without having to drill. So of course you'll have these poles, and it just depends on how you want it to look, but I think they actually look pretty nice. All right, so we'll go ahead and unbox this here and see what's included. Of course, you have your assembly instructions here and then your product list. And then this is the first bag, which has, I know these are the top and bottom stops because this system uses tension to go from floor to ceiling without any drilling. So that is one of the things that I really like about this, and it was definitely what I needed for my space, and it can be great for your space too if you do not want to have to drill any holes. So I love that about this. You've got your horizontal pole system here, so this will be going across the top where that will hold your curtain, and then you have both sets of your vertical poles here. So we will pull all of these things out and start assembling, and I'll show you how it all goes together. So taking it out of the package and putting it all together like this really helped me to understand and match it all up with the instructions, and so now I know what to do. Now that I have this all unboxed, I wanted to point out a couple of things. First off, these two end caps here go with the horizontal bar, but they were packaged in with all of these pieces. So I was kind of confused about that at first when looking at the instructions, but the instructions were a little confusing at first. They do have the pipe number here, and then the quantity. This star 6 is the quantity of 6. So whenever I unpackage these, it's nice that they have their individual packaging and they're in a bag by themselves because that helps them from getting scratched up. But it also has a number on there, and I think that is really, really smart to do that. So if you look up here for the horizontal bars, you have it's kind of hard to see on here, but you have a 5, a 6, and then you have a bunch of 3s. So if you look at the horizontal instructions, you see pipe 5, pipe 3, pipe 6. So it tells you exactly where those go, and it does the same on the vertical bars. So you have an 8, which is this bottom piece here, which is rubberized, so that's nice. That'll give a good grip. And then you have a 4, 3, and then a 2, and then a 7 is this piece right here. So all these bags are numbered for both sets of vertical bars, and I think that is really good. Before I get started putting this thing together and have it all completed, I want to go over a couple of things. So on the instructions here, you have 8, 4, and 3. So this is 8, your bottom piece. This is 4, which is a shorter piece. And then this is 3, which is a longer piece. So you can see here that it shows to twist them together. So basically you take the two poles and they have threads, and then you twist them together like that. And then once you have it put together, then you will put number 4 into number 8, and there's your base. And then you'll do the same thing at the top, where you will put this piece at the top. And I wanted to go over a couple of more pieces here. So this is the very top piece. This is number 1. So as you can see, it has this piece here, and it actually is flexible, so that whenever you're putting it on the floor, between the floor and the ceiling, you have some give in it, which is really nice. So when you get it adjusted to the height that you need, it will adjust some like that. But then this is the very top number 3 piece, and as you can see, you have this little tab here, so you can just click it in place where you need it to be. So that's really nice to be adjusted there. And then lastly, you have this top piece here, which is for the vertical bar. So you slide this down on this number 1 piece, and you can loosen and tighten it here, and you can slide it up and down so that you can get it adjusted for the height that you need for your curtains. So really liking this system so far, but again, we'll go ahead and complete it and see what it looks like all put together. All right, so before I finish this up, I want to give one last tip as I'm getting near the top. So I've got the top of my pole and I've got my ceiling right here, so I'm getting pretty close. And you have this number 3 that would go at the very, very top, and it's the one that has the holes in it. So you can take this number 3, screw it in there, and as you can see, I'm still far enough away from the ceiling. But then I've got my number 1 piece with my horizontal bracket here for my horizontal bar, and then I've got my top plate here. So what I'm going to do is just line this tab right here at the end with the most likely hole or most appropriate hole. And so mine is actually lined up in between 2 holes, but remember, this has tension in it. So once I get it snapped in here, I can come back here, pull down on this top piece, so this got tension, and then let go, and it will be secure to the ceiling from floor to ceiling. So that's the last bit of advice on this system. So I'm going to finish it up, get it all put together, and then we'll see what it looks like.